the characters' own voices. So I'd like to apologize in advance to anybody who is American of Italian origin, American of Chinese origin, American of white American working class origin. I never said I was an actor, but I'm going to do my best. So if you have any questions, I hope you could leave it till after the reading. 1980. I woke up. I was dreaming of music, and it's free to dream. I was gonna get caught very soon, and I could feel it. My nose was tingling. Things were on the decline. No, seriously, only that afternoon I contemplated selling my wine-red Gibson Les Paul Deluxe guitar in its silver padded bag in order to live. Last night I met Paolo. I was 23 years old. I had $24 left in my black patent clutch and some belladonna tabs. 4, if I remembered right. It was freezing cold, and just like the night in Blondie's Picture This. It was November the 4th. The streets were celebrating the former Hollywood actor, Republican Reagan, beating Democrat Carter in a landslide. TVs in bars were showing the firework displays. My throat was also on fire. I was dying of thirst, and I hadn't eaten for 3 days. It took an hour to do my Maybelline makeup to look just like Debbie Harry. Dallas would be proud. I wore my red-framed plastic glasses. I was more Warhol than Debbie. I headed straight for the Drake Hotel, open every night since Prohibition era ended. I eyeballed the guy who was a little on the short side, perhaps 5'7". He was at least 40. He had small, neat hands, like those of a teacher. He was dressed immaculately in a shark-skin suit with an unbelievable collar, and I assumed he was Italian. His face was tanned and chiseled like a doll. After a couple of drinks at the bar, I asked him if I could have a cigarette. I only had $6 left, after cabs, tips, and so on. Join us, he beckoned and called. We're celebrating. I assumed he meant the elections, but Dallas said to always answer with a straight question. This way, you kept the conversation going. If you said, yeah, how about that, huh? Then what would they or you be able to say next? So I played the ingenue. Really? What are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? We're going into partnership to open the first and the best pizza restaurant in Asia, in Macau. Wow, I thought to myself, but I wasn't about to act like some dumb broad. If you are the first, then how can you be the best? I said. He squinted and looked at me. Waiter, can we have another glass? He snapped his fingers real quick and twice. The waiter came back with a champagne flute. Paolo rolled his eyes and shut them, as if he'd been sent a message from the Heavenly Father in Naples. Gentlemen, this young lady is a mathematical genius, he said. Y'all think we ought to drink to that, huh? They each raised a glass and laughed. He poured me a glass of bubbly, and I tentatively took a sip. What are ya? Who are you? He said. I shook my head. I put on a real serious look. The three guys roared with laughter. Italian? Said Paolo, when the laughter died down. Well, no. Actually, my mom is Chinese from Singapore, and my dad is from here, Chicago, Irish. Bella, he said, looking at me approvingly. Bella, that's why I thought you were Italian. I kicked myself under the black, shiny tablecloth with a real red rose on it, just lying there as if a gardener from a country mansion somewhere had cut and left a single red rose before running off. Why did I tell him the truth? Dallas would kill me if she knew. The deal was a different story each night. We were the queens of the magical journeys into the unknown, whatever that meant. I felt I was too old for this game, and the stories had run out. Paolo was with a couple of friends or distant relatives I didn't know yet, who ran Johnny's Pizzeria on West 35th. Johnny's is the famous, is the block down from the Walgreens. You never been there? They were proud of their pizzerias. I was not exactly a regular in the 60609 neighborhood. There's always a line round the block. You get a pizza, fries, and 2 cans of Coke for about $12. Johnny's is great for toppings. They were super selling it to me. If they said any more, I reckon I'd hit the floor. I was so starved. Pretty cheap date, huh? They had no idea. I was given a not-so-top secret. The trick was that the pizzas at Johnny's were baked. We know everything there is to know about pizzas, and we ain't saying nothing. Huge guffaws. I made sure I was listening. In Dallas's rule book, listening was number 1. The conversation unavoidably drifted to less regulation of business activity, direction of government policy, consumerism. Stay out of politics, said Dallas once. He never had nothing. You play? Paolo asked, tossing his head toward the piano as only Italians could without looking like they were doing neck stretches. Sure, I said. I thought I wasn't ever going to get an audience again. I went to the piano when the pianist was on his break. I asked him if I could play. He balanced his unlit cigarette on the top edge of the piano as though he was about to perform some magic trick. He gestured with his palm as if to say, "Be my guest." And just when I was about to sit down, he said, "You got a couple of bucks?" "No," I said, but I continued to sit down. "Jerk," I said under my breath. I played on the sunny side of the street. Fats Wallace stride style, big pouncy crab chords in 1-2. Paolo came over bearing our drinks during the middle 8, leaving the 2 guys behind at our table. "This is incredible," he yelled. "Guys, she plays. We have found her." I didn't know what he was talking about. Found who? Paolo cried, "Bellissima!" and started singing. His hands burst in the air like an orchestral conductor's. He knew all of the words, but after the song was over, he wanted to sing about some shark with pearly teeth, and I knew I wouldn't get out of it. He was a big fan of Bobby Darin. I changed. I started playing something more apt, "Dreamin' by Blondie, with a wonderful descending scalic melody about meeting in a restaurant when one wasn't a debutante. Were truer words ever spoken? No. He shook his head. How could you not dig that tune? During Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, with its pulsing, ascending blues bass line, I lost my fan. At first, he politely nodded his head in time, but he didn't know any of the words, and he wasn't singing along with me. Then he was looking back at the guys. He jokingly mouthed to them, "I'll call ya," and made the universal gesture of the phone call, fist to the ear. It was just as well. The real pianist came back from his break. And he winked in that cocktail pianist way, and he said, "Hey, thought that was neat." We headed back to our table, but my legs folded over. I passed out. Dallas used to assign jobs for me, but now she was in MCC prison in downtown Chicago. Not only did I want to quit my day job, I wanted out from my nighttime enterprise too, which was scoping. Sure, she recognized I had my Catholic hang-ups. Scoping and teaching were the only options for me, she said. Scoping was spiking guys' drinks with Belladonna, our beautiful lady, or Scopolini. And when they surrendered to the peaceful night shade of twilight, she robbed them, or as she'd like to call it, taxed them. All the time I was saying my Hail Marys. "You're a class act," she told me. "At least you do good your wrongs." Luck only gets better when it runs out. That was when my mom said. And for all her Singaporean Chinese wisdomisms, she had not an ounce of luck in her whole life. It was the early 50s when she married my daddy, when mixed marriages were so rare in Singapore. People secretly took my parents' wedding photos and sold them to the tabloids as though it was the discovery of an illegal gambling den. So rare, my mother would disown. So rare, she became a kind of local legend. Despite all this, she loved him, but she didn't trust him. It was a pretty kaboom combination. Actually, it was her mother, my Apo, who said to her not to trust him. The white man cannot be trusted. Apo had more wisdomisms than teeth. Gary said there was no such thing as luck. It was just a feeling. If you feel lucky, then you are. Like feeling skinny, feeling crummy, feeling chunky. But I said, yo, like put down the Cheetos if you're feeling chunky. Dallas only said everything is a feeling because she was already in the can. I'd been in once and it was enough for me. She said I'd better get out of town fast. Didn't think it would be that fast. When I opened my eyes, I thought I was in heaven. Dallas said that no way the bouncers were gonna turn us away from heaven's door. We got into every club that ever was. Thank you. If you have any questions, please raise them now. I will never answer questions ever again. So tonight's the night.